We're past the era of men making assumptions that women need help. Because again, that could be considered disrespectful and misogynistic. And so men aren't going out of the way to just lend a helping hand to women because they don't want to be seen as misogynistic.
You know what? It's as if women aren't scared of sex. Women are scared of the shame that is then projected upon them, as if we don't know how sacred we are and how sacred our bodies are. And when we consent to do something, we are not allowed to experience pleasure the same way that a man does. We are not allowed to enjoy it as much as a guy does. His pleasure should come before ours. And we have to be so worried about getting pregnant. And we have to make sure that we have protection because he might not. And, you know, sometimes condoms don't work. And you have to also make sure that you're on the pill or you have the implant. And it's the weight of it all. And before you say, oh, girl, you're just hurt, you're just projecting what you've been through, not all men are like this. Of course, I'm talking about the emotionally immature ones. The grown men, the secure, emotionally available, vulnerable, honest. Did I say secure? Confident men. This doesn't apply to you. Keep scrolling. This is not for you, babes. You've got your shit together. You understand that when you sleep with a woman, whether you want to be together forever or you're dating or not, you know, to be open and honest and communicate. And it does not lessen your perspective, your view of her, your opinion of her, simply because you both consented to being physically intimate with each other. You're good. This ain't for you. Keep going. But for the rest of the men that aren't that self-aware and that have not done the work, whether it's therapy, getting a dog, having community, healing your mummy and daddy wounds, or not feeling enough, you know, or your trauma. I'll start somewhere, read a fucking book, right? Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, that's a good start, yeah? Why aren't you cuddling her afterwards? Why aren't you getting her a little snack? Get one for yourself as well. You also deserve it too. Where's the gentleness? You run away. What?
It just occurred to me as I was putting groceries in my car what it's like to be a woman in America. Out of habit, because I'm by myself, I had my back to my car and I was like picking my groceries up and turning, so that way I was facing what was happening. And I'm like, this is actually so sad that I don't feel safe enough to literally put groceries in my car without facing the parking lot so nobody can like come up behind me. Like, that is literally what being a woman in America is like. It's actually pretty freaking sad.
Okay, here is the problem with being a female trying to date in 2025. I'm going to say it. Men just aren't masculine enough anymore. They don't take charge. They don't do really simple stuff, okay? The thoughtful stuff. They're not like forthcoming with arranging a date. I want a guy who's like, babe, I want to see you. You give me a time and a date and I'm going to book it. Then you get the message, babe, meet me here at this time, or I'm picking you up at this time on this day. Wear something like this. Someone who walks on the side of the road by the cars. Someone who opens doors. Do you know how many men don't do this anymore? Too many men. It is the simple things. People who are like, I don't know, just not giving that big masculine energy that so many of us just need. And I think the problem is so many men are intimidated by independent women. Women who have fended for themselves. Women who are doing it all on their own and don't need a man anymore. Would we like one? I would. A decent one. But I don't need anyone. I don't need a man to come and save me or to look after me or to fend for me or provide for me, because I can do all of that on my own. And that is the problem now. Women are becoming so incredibly successful, so independent, and they're doing both the male and the female roles, majority in their house, that men are really going to have to step up their game, because speaking to my single friends, it's not just me feeling this way. Like, we have everything on our own. It's going to take so much more for a man to step up and show up and just bring back like those old school male values and masculinity. It's just the lack of communication in this day and age literally blows my mind. I feel like I might challenge someone on something, and if they don't like it, they will literally ghost you. And for me, that's just like, it makes me laugh because I'm like, yeah, I knew you were immature, but clearly you can't communicate either. But just all of it, the way people communicate now, the way people don't pursue things, that drive, it's just missing, and it's making dating in 2025 so difficult. And genuinely, I would much rather be on my own and carry on doing everything on my own than settle for the scraps that are currently out there.
This lady recently shared her frustration about dating in 2025, claiming men no longer lead, don't show strength, and don't take initiative. But before we pretend this is some mystery, we need to look at how we even got here, because men didn't just change on their own. Something pushed them into silence, into distance, into complete detachment. And that something wasn't men. She said dating as a woman is challenging because men supposedly lack masculinity and don't carry themselves the way she wants. But she left out the part where women themselves spent years rejecting the very qualities they now miss. Every time a man tried to guide, women slapped labels on him. Every time a man set direction, he was criticized. Eventually, men stopped stepping into roles they kept getting punished for. She's describing a problem that women created. The reality is men didn't fade because they're intimidated. Men stepped back because women made involvement stressful. Men discovered peace outside relationships. And once they tasted that peace, they refused to go back to chaos. No complaints, no shouting, no emotional traps. Women insisted they didn't need anyone, so men believed them and moved on with their lives. Now those same men are being blamed for simply respecting the boundaries women demanded. Women also ignore their double standards. If a man they like takes charge, he's praised. If a man they don't like does the same, he's attacked. Men got tired of playing in a system where their value depends entirely on someone's mood or attraction. When women remove men's purpose, they remove their own stability. You can't strip men of importance, then blame them for acting detached. That's the consequence of your own choices. Women want dating to feel effortless, but they refuse to acknowledge the damage they caused. Men already built lives that don't revolve around female validation. If women want relationships again, then they're the ones who must change the environment they destroyed. They must stop weaponizing independence, stop dismissing male contribution, and stop acting like men are disposable until they need them. The adjustment is theirs, not men's.
I got a question. Why do men be so offended when you ask them for money?
The same reason women get offended when men ask for coochie.
I do not get that. That just indicates you're broke.
Don't sound like he's the one that's broke.
A lot of women keep wondering why men react strongly when asked for money, but they never look at how the environment changed. Men didn't suddenly grow sensitive about giving. They grew tired of feeling like walking wallets. Modern dating turned financial requests into first step of every interaction, and women made it normal. When a man feels like his worth is judged by how much he can hand out instead of who he is, irritation is a natural response. Women reshape relationships into transactions. It didn't start with men. It began when women placed financial expectations before emotional connection, before loyalty, before partnership. Somewhere along the line, giving became mandatory, not voluntary. A man can't even show interest without being tested financially. So yes, men get offended because they're no longer being treated as partners. They're being treated as providers with no guarantee of respect. What makes it worse is how women defend it. They act like requesting money early on is harmless, but they ignore how it undermines trust. A man can't relax when everything he does is measured in currency. Women create a culture where affection is linked to benefits, where assistance is demanded, not earned. Men didn't build this system. They just learned the cost of participating in it. And once they realize they were being used, they pull back. Ladies often call men stingy or broken when they refuse, but they never question their own behavior. If your first impulse is to collect before connecting, you've already turned the relationship into a business deal. You can't expect genuine love when you're treating men like financial institutions. Men withdraw emotionally because they know the moment their money stops, the affection stops too. Women created this emotional distance by placing money above meaning. The reason men are defensive now is simple. They're protecting themselves. Women normalize taking without giving the foundation that keeps a relationship alive. If women want men to stop reacting negatively, then they must stop approaching relationships with a price tag attached, remove the financial demands, and men will show up differently. Keep treating romance like an invoice, and you'll continue losing men who simply want to be valued for more than their income.
As women, can't we just be honest about the fact that a lot of girls aren't lonely because they can't find a decent man who's respectable, or men aren't men anymore? They're lonely because the expectations of what they want out of a relationship do not equate with who they are in relationships. You say you want a man who's emotionally mature, but whenever you're losing an argument, you start crying. That's emotional manipulation. Some of y'all want a man who's consistent, but you don't even post content consistently, let alone go to the gym consistently. And don't get me started on the meal plan you said you were going to start 3 weeks ago for your winter arc. You want a man with great communication skills, but you crashed out on the last one because you thought he was gaslighting you or manipulating you or he was a narcissist. Stop letting people get you out of character. That means you don't have good communication skills. All I'm saying is you can't expect a high value partner when you are not a high value partner. This fantasy idea that all the men are the bad ones and all the girls are just 10 out of 10s waiting for someone perfect. You're not perfect. 10 out of 10 is perfect. You're not perfect. And neither is the man that is also on your level. But you won't even give him a chance because in your mind, you're a 10 and he's a 5. But in reality, you're both 6s. Sit with that. The uncomfortable truth here, ladies, is that the dating market and the men are not the only problem. For a lot of the girls, self-awareness is the problem. Because you can't want better when you're not better.
Keep saying they're lonely because men won't commit, but they never examine the standards they created. Their solitude isn't caused by the absence of men. It's caused by the demands they place on men while refusing to meet those same standards themselves. They built expectations so high that even they wouldn't qualify for the type of partner they want. So naturally, they end up alone and confused. The problem starts when women ask for qualities they don't possess. They want a loyal man while entertaining multiple options. They want a disciplined man while living without structure. They want maturity while causing chaos. It's a cycle they made themselves, and yet they blame men for stepping away. A lot of women want the benefits of a balanced relationship without offering the balance that keeps a relationship functioning. Many women think simply wanting something makes them deserving of it. But relationships don't work that way. If you claim to value stability, you should also be capable of providing it. If you desire a man who carries responsibility, you should be prepared to match that effort. Women created this gap between who they want and who they actually are, and that gap is the reason so many of them remain single. The loneliness they face today didn't come from men abandoning them. It came from women pushing men away with unrealistic demands while contributing very little in return. You can't insist on traditional treatment while rejecting traditional behavior. You can't dismiss men's needs and then cry about being ignored. The disconnect is a direct result of women adjusting the rules to suit themselves while expecting men to adjust nothing. If women truly want connection again, they need to stop pointing fingers at men and start correcting the standards they created. Their expectations are the root of the problem. Their refusal to evaluate themselves is what keeps them isolated. Until women begin offering what they ask for, their loneliness won't disappear. It will grow. And men will keep choosing peace over confusion.
You may need to fucking calm down. Women will never walk past you or run past you and go, morning. Women don't do that. Women don't harass women. Only men harass women.
Gentlemen, I'm just going to say it. It really seems that men simply cannot win. Because now, according to some, if a man even says good morning to a woman, he's harassing her. You can't make this stuff up.
She claimed the issue is strictly a man problem, insisting women are polite, friendly, and never contribute to hostility in public. But that narrative only works if we ignore how women have changed their behavior over the years. Men didn't suddenly become the villains. Women shifted their attitudes, closed themselves off, and now pretend they're the only ones being wronged. Politeness died the moment women started treating every basic interaction from a man as suspicious or inappropriate. Women love to say they never walk past anyone without greeting them, but every man knows that's not true. Most women avoid eye contact, stay glued to their phones, or act like acknowledging a man is some kind of burden. Then they turn around and accuse men of being unfriendly. How can men be warm in an environment where women have made friendliness a risk? Men adjusted because women made every simple gesture feel dangerous. Now women complain about harassment, but they refuse to admit how their extreme reactions to normal interactions created the fear men have today. A man saying hi can be twisted into something negative within seconds. No man wants to be labeled for simply existing in public. So men became quiet, distant, cautious, and now women want to act shocked. They build a world where men are punished for speaking, then blame men for staying silent. The same women who discourage basic human interaction also cry about a loneliness epidemic among men. They want empathy from men they refuse to show empathy to. And when men stop opening doors, stop starting conversations, stop engaging, women shout, "Chivalry is dead." Chivalry didn't die. Women killed it by turning every gesture into a problem. How can men continue giving when every attempt gets torn apart? Women want friendliness, safety, connection, and respect, but they don't return any of it. They set the tone, they shut men out, and they erase the warmth men used to offer freely. If women want better interactions, then they have to stop treating men like threats. They must rebuild the environment they destroyed, because men didn't walk away willingly. They were pushed out.
Crying in the bathroom at Amazon because you can't pull no men at work is crazy. You need to be on that line getting packages out. Christmas is almost coming, Black Friday. You got bigger things to be focused on than men not wanting to sleep with you at work. But I will say, not being able to pull men at Amazon, that's some nasty work. That's some nasty work. Even the old heads, even the old unhappily married men ain't flirting with you. I don't know what to tell you. You might really be chopped for real. Like, if you ain't getting no play in the Amazon warehouse and the old heads ain't messing with you, you got to think, even if out in the real world you like a 3 or a 4, once you step foot in that warehouse, you become an automatic 8 or 9. Because that's how down bad the men in the warehouse be. The married ones, the single ones, ones with girlfriend, they be down bad. They be down bad. So even if you ugly, you somewhat become fine enough for them to at least want to smash. The fact that that's not even happening, yikes. But no, in all seriousness, you are focused on the wrong thing. You should never even be wanting to sleep with nobody where you work at. You ain't never heard the old saying, you don't S where you work? Yeah. Now get back on that line and get them packages out, because if my stuff late, I'm going to be upset.
She shared a story about another lady breaking down in an Amazon restroom because men refuse to flirt with her. And instead of asking why men behave this way now, women immediately assume men are cold or uninterested. They never consider how their own behavior pushed men into complete silence. You can't spend years shaming men for showing interest, then start crying when that interest disappears. They created an atmosphere where male attention comes with consequences. A simple compliment is treated like a crime. A smile is misinterpreted, and any sign of interest becomes a reason to embarrass a man publicly. So men stopped playing that role entirely. They withdrew their energy because the reaction they kept receiving was hostility. Now, women miss the very things they taught men to suppress. The woman crying in that restroom isn't suffering because men changed overnight. She's suffering because women demanded a world where male interaction must always be filtered, restricted, monitored, and controlled. Men adapted. They chose distance. They chose caution. They chose silence. And women are shocked because they thought men would keep risking rejection and humiliation forever. 'Tis gender dismantled the natural dynamic between men and women. They wanted freedom from male attention. They wanted power over men's behavior. And they wanted full authority over what qualifies as appropriate. Now they're discovering that a world without male interest feels empty. You can't destroy something and then complain about the emptiness that follows. This is the environment women built. If women want men to engage again, they have to undo the culture they created. Men are not the problem. Women taught men to disappear, and men followed instructions. Until women stop attacking normal interactions, stop demonizing harmless compliments, and stop treating men like threats, the silence will continue, and the crime will only increase.
You know something I thought about? There are not a lot of men on this earth. Let me take that back. There are not a lot of men in this generation that serve women. And I emphasize on the serve because I've dated so many men and also have spoke to a lot of men that are very much not into serving women. It's always, well, what do you bring to the table? Well, what do you have for me? Well, I got you this the other day, now you owe me. It's always that. And it's very sad because only a small percentage of men were raised properly where a woman does what she does, a man does what he does, and y'all come together as a team, as a partnership. There's roles for each side. And trust me, a man is gonna do what he needs to do as long as you do what you gotta do. That's it, that's all. But it's the fact that men still seek women to do this for me, pay for this. Oh, you forgot about this. Open your own door. Like, just crazy stuff. And that's not how I was raised.
She said men don't serve women anymore, as if men woke up one day and decided to stop contributing. But she ignores how women rewire the entire dynamic. Women pushed a message that they didn't need anything from men. That assistance was insulting. That kindness from a man meant he was trying to control them. After years of being rejected for simply being supportive, men stepped back. Women planted the seed, and now they're shocked by the harvest. Women made independence their identity, not partnership. They celebrated the idea of not relying on men, not accepting help, not wanting traditional gestures. Holding a door became offensive. Offering guidance became manipulation. Providing became oppression. Men adjusted to what women demanded. They stopped performing roles women claimed to hate. And suddenly women want the same men they spent years shutting down. The current generation of men was shaped by the behavior women modeled. When your contribution is constantly dismissed, you stop offering it. When women insist they can handle everything alone, men learn to stop interfering. It wasn't men who sparked this shift. It was women who proudly cut men out, then acted surprised when men respected their independence literally. You can't push someone away, then complain when they don't return. Now, women call it a gender war, but they're the ones who fired the first shot. They strip men of their role, then blame men for not playing anymore. And when men protect their effort and energy, women call it laziness, selfishness, or lack of chivalry. Men simply mirror the attitude women created. If women want service, partnership, and leadership, they have to stop acting like those things are disrespectful. Women want men who give value, but they refuse to offer any value back. Respect is mutual, effort is mutual, partnership is mutual. Women turn their backs first, and men learn to navigate without them. If women want connection again, they must rebuild what they destroyed and stop expecting men to compensate for decisions women proudly made on their own.
Being a woman is so annoying because it's full of people pretending to care about women's issues, but not actually addressing the issues whatsoever. They'll be like, women need a man to protect them. And we're like, oh, what are the men protecting us from? And they're like, other men. And we're like, okay. Then he'll be like, hey, why don't you call out your buddy that's been harassing this girl at this party? And they're like, well, I don't want to be a cock block, so I'm not going to say anything. Hey, why is that guy taking that really drunk girl into this bedroom at this party? Oh, I don't want to be a cock block, so I'm not going to do anything about it. And they'll just stare at you. True story. You know who goes into the bedroom and saves the girl? Other girls. Crazy concept. And you'd be like, hey, why do you support this famous person who has known to beat women. And they're like, oh, he's just really good at what he does. You know, separate the art from the artist. And you're like, okay. And instead they'll be like, actually, we should care about who's going into women's bathrooms. That's the real problem. It's like, oh, I never talked about caring about trans women in the bathroom. Well, that's what's really the problem. Those are the people who are really endangering women. I'm just trying to protect women. Okay, so how are you going to enforce people going into bathrooms? You know, like, not everyone carries their birth certificate around. And they're like, I don't know. Meanwhile, the only thing that they could possibly do is groom children to drop their pants when going into the restroom for who knows who. Hello? Like, men just really, and they hide behind the guise. They always hide behind the guise of, we're just trying to protect women. Meanwhile, they do absolutely nothing in their real life to actually protect women. Zero. And I genuinely don't care who I share a bathroom with, as long as they're not a creep. Man, woman, non-binary person, as long as you're not doing anything bad, that's fine. Statistically speaking, men harm people at a much higher rate than women harm people. Also, a man could just go into a woman's bathroom right now. Like, men do it because their goal is to harm someone. They're gonna do whatever it takes to harm somebody. They're gonna harm somebody whether they're allowed in the bathroom or not. And again, there's no bouncers to these bathrooms. Men could just go in there without pretending to be a woman. Like, this stupid trans bathroom bill discussion coming up again is so stupid.
She claimed men pretend to care about women's issues but never step in or stand up for them. That accusation ignores how men slowly backed away because women themselves made involvement unwelcome. When every attempt to offer support is criticized, questioned, or dismissed, men eventually choose silence. Women create an environment where men are expected to protect them, but punish the moment they try. For many years, women insisted they didn't need male guidance, assistance, or intervention. They said they could handle everything alone. They shut down men's voices, mocked male involvement, and labeled any form of male protection as controlling. So men pulled back. Not because they don't care, but because women made it nearly impossible to participate without backlash. You can't demand independence and then complain when men give it to you. They also overlook how many men stop helping because women turned every situation into a critique. Whether a man offered advice, stepped into a conflict, or simply tried to help, he risked being attacked for doing too much or not doing it perfectly. Men realized their efforts were only appreciated when convenient and disrespected the rest of the time. That inconsistency drained their willingness to stay involved. Now, some women act surprised when men aren't rushing in to defend them, but they forget how often they shut men out, talked down to them, or treated them like intruders instead of allies. Men did not abandon the role. They were pushed out of it. Women demanded distance, demanded autonomy, demanded power, and men respected the boundaries women set. The result is a social climate women built with their own choices. If women want men to show up again, they must stop attacking the same men they expect support from. They need to rebuild trust, stop framing male protection as a threat, and stop treating men like they're automatically wrong for trying to help. Men aren't uncaring. They simply stopped placing themselves in situations where women made them feel unwanted. Men, stay solid and stay intentional. Don't let anyone blame you for stepping back from spaces where your presence was criticized. Keep focusing on your growth. Protect your peace, and give your energy only where it's respected. More conversations coming soon.